Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks a lot for being here on the second day. It's a pleasure for me to be again on the panel and today talk about, I think, a very interesting topic for Dubai. It means real estate on the blockchain. And I have been the first time 1998 in Dubai, and I remember the only thing I saw was the Jebel Ali Hotel at this time. So, and if it evolves as fast as this, I'm very interested to see the next 20 years here in Dubai. And here are some people on the panel who managed it to do this, and I'm proud to sit here. So let's go to the topic. What means real estate on the blockchain? We heard a lot of things of banking, the unbanked, the finance industry and blockchain, but what means real estate in the blockchain? As I mentioned yesterday, and a lot of other speakers said, blockchain is bringing value, the internet of value, and real estate is probably one of the most important values we have here in this area. And as this blockchain topic has different angles, one is this cryptocurrency token angle. The other one is this ICO, disrupting the venture capital angle. And the third one is innovative and process innovation topics. We're in the real estate area very much in this process innovation topics. Of course, there's money in it. Of course, there are payment topics in it, but that's the secondary part. I would like to introduce you my panelists and then start with the questions. First, direct next to me, Michiel Frakkers, the founder of Blue Note, coming from Netherlands/Singapore. Please, it's your stage.
So at Blue Note, what we're trying to do is solve an enormous challenge that the world is faced with, which is global warming. According to the United Nations, the largest singular source of CO2 emissions that cause global warming is caused by commercial real estate. About 35% of all global warming is created by commercial real estate, and especially the energy they use. So we think that by reducing the energy spent, the energy use of commercial real estate, actually global warming can be reduced. And actually, according to Deutsche Bank, that unlocks a tremendous value. Just in the United States alone, what the study was based on, reducing energy spent by commercial buildings with 30% would unlock a value of around $600 billion. And that's basically by reducing the energy spent, the value of the real estate goes up, because you can also increase rent and optimize rent and income. So basically, we aim to increase ROI for real estate owners and real estate investors by reducing energy spent of commercial real estate through the blockchain. And through introducing trust and the verification of independent data by the blockchain, we feel that trust will lead to increased value. And right now, trust and sharing of data and information is what's lacking between investors and within the real estate space.
Thanks a lot, Michiel. Going further to Yusuf Dashkoni, please introduce yourself.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yusuf Dashkoni. I am the head of security in Wuzzle. Just to give you a brief introduction, what is Wuzzle? Wuzzle is one of the biggest asset management group for Dubai government. We have multiple portfolio, and the property and real estate portfolio, we have more than 30,000 property unit, 1,000 buildings. We have more than 5,000 land spot we are managing in Dubai. And the hospitality portfolio, we have a group of 5-star hotel and golf clubs, the most famous, Creek Golf and Emirates Golf. And I believe the weather is good to go and play now. And, but you cannot pay by Bitcoins, of course. Sorry.
Thanks, amazing numbers. What do you manage with Wuzzle? Then the next one, Khalifa Al-Suwaidi, please tell us what you are doing.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khalifa Al-Suwaidi. I'm heading a company called Emirates Real Estate Solution. It's a company owned by government of Dubai. We work very closely with land department. I am myself used to be a land department employee. I've been working in land department and Emirates Real Estate Solution for the past 20 years. We take care of the infrastructure and technology related to property registration regulation for land department. We have been working in one of the latest initiatives for the government and for land department, which is the title deed blockchain, which we call Dubai Real Estate Blockchain. Thank you.
Thanks, Khalifa, for being here. And we have a very balanced panel, so also Russia is on the panel. Please, Dimitri and Moisev, could you introduce yourself?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dimitri, and I'm CEO of Naviaddress. We developed and market for the last 2 years the addressing system that we plan to migrate to blockchain. And this addressing system provides users with a unified digital ID for any place or object. So we plan to disrupt, let's say, the way people use addresses.
Thank you very much. So let's go into the discussion. And the first thing is blockchain is expected to benefit the real estate sector by providing speedier transactions, to be cheaper at it, and more cost effective. And I would like to ask you, Yusuf, what is the opinion on Wuzzle on that?
Thanks, Ralph, for this question. As you know, that the real estate sector is one of the fundamental elements for the economy of Dubai. And on a daily basis, there is thousands of transactions under process in this field. What we are expecting from technology like a blockchain is to provide the agility and trust to the transaction. If you come to our company, Wuzzle, we have thousands of customers with very different backgrounds around the world, from different countries around the world. So each transaction is a journey itself. So our expectation from technology, including a blockchain, is much more than operation efficiency, which exists today using multiple technologies. Our expectation from technology like blockchain and real estate is to provide exponential improvement to the service to the customer. Our expectation is to simplify the process, to remove the redundancy, and to give totally a new experience to the customer. And we already took one step ahead in 2017, and we worked on the first real estate use case in blockchain. That use case was launched officially in GITEX, and it was KYC with multiple government entities and Emirates NBD Bank as a private sector. Just to give you a brief about the use case, which we'll be going to present very soon. As a tenant, on yearly basis, of course, he needs to do the renew his agreement, his lease agreement. It's a mandatory to bring certain document from multiple government entities. He needs to bring his physical check, or he needs to pay using credit card. And after this long journey, he needs to approve his lease agreement and with the DLD and EJRI system. This long journey, we transfer it to blockchain. And I would like to thank the smart government, Smart Dubai, who supervised this use case, and DLD also for their core role in this use case. And I will give you, this is the brief about the use case, which I'd like you to enjoy the 2-minute video about this use case on a blockchain, which was officially launched in 2017. As you can see from the video, multiple objectives being achieved. One of them is a totally new experience to the customer, remove the redundancies, faster, and also paperless, which was one of the strategic objectives of Smart Dubai when they talk about the Dubai 2020 on a blockchain. So it was completely paperless document and the new experience to the customer. Just to conclude in this point, Ralph, that when you talk about the data accuracy and the trustworthy, I think a blockchain is being labeled for those type of feature. When we talk about immutability, a blockchain is consensus-based algorithm where each transaction which is recorded to the ledger is being validated by all the participants without going into technical detail, and also for a provenance. So I believe that we are achieving this. This is my view on the real estate sector.
Thanks a lot, Yusuf. And I really like this video and the project because it brings real use cases to the blockchain. We're not talking only about something virtual. You see it's working. And it's not necessarily the transfer of money in it, it's the transfer of trust and documents in it. And that's a great use case. Thanks a lot. That brings me to the strategy of Dubai to be a visionary leader in the blockchain, and seeing also what the Dubai Land Department has already taken major steps on that. And I learned what ERIS is, and I want to learn a little bit more what you are going to implement there and what is the strategy. And Khalifa, may I ask you this question? What are the next steps after this project?
Well, let me start just in very brief moments to explain a little bit about our role inside Land Department. Land Department is in charge of property registration and regulation. When we talk about registration, we're talking about transaction registration as well as mortgage registration. When we talk about regulation, we regulate developers, landlord, property managers, brokers, and owner associations. Real estate sector is a very important sector, not only in Dubai, but across the world. Let me give you some of the numbers that we did in 2017. We have concluded more than 65,000 property transactions that worth more than 285 billion dirhams. We have registered more than 450,000 lease contract that worth more than 52 billion dirhams. We have classified our customers in Land Department. We've got lots of customers, property developers, property managers, brokers, investors who buy and sell property inside Dubai. So when Smart Dubai and the government of Dubai came with the initiative of implementing blockchain into Dubai government sector as well as the third party and private sector, we came with the idea of launching what we call Dubai Real Estate Blockchain. This blockchain is supposed to be the hub to integrate all necessary service across government sector as well as private sector. What we have accomplished so far, in 2017, with the launch of the rental proof of concept with the Wuzzle group, we have created what we call the title deed blockchain. The title deed blockchain has all the necessary information related to real estate, property real estate sector inside Dubai. We managed to migrate more than 500,000 title deed from our legacy system to a blockchain environment. We are writing around 250 title deeds daily. We have integrated all our legacy applications with the Dubai Real Estate Blockchain. Legacy application that verify the property before the transaction or before the procedures, and those legacy application commit directly to the blockchain database. When we look at Dubai Real Estate Blockchain, it is the infrastructure that will allow to integrate with the rest of the sector. Now, with the Wuzzle Group leasing procedures, which is very smart and efficient, it is part of the entire blockchain network that we have created. So imagine how easy property are being verified, write or commit any details required in either registering a contract or conducting a property transfer. The first smart contract that is running on the blockchain right now is the new project that has been created by Wuzzle Group. And it's not only Wuzzle, but it is around 6 entities in Dubai, including private sector as well as other government sector. You know, the real estate sector is a bit large in terms of classifying customers. So in order to take real estate community to a blockchain environment, it is a huge work. We've got the support of Smart Dubai, utilizing KYC. We've got the support of the local banks and our payment solution, Khudi Real Estate, that is already being utilized by more than 500 property developers, more than 5,000 brokers inside Dubai, and more than 3,000 landlords inside Dubai. These are the challenges that we are looking at, and utilizing those big network, we thought that implementing blockchain in stages will be the best idea. And that's why the infrastructure, the title deed, real estate blockchain that we have launched in October 2017 is the base mark and the foundation to lay down the rest of the services in 2018. So what are we doing in 2018? Property registration only takes around 30 minutes between seller and buyer. But when you look at the challenges before conducting the property transfer, these are the challenges that we would like to work on. For example, the listing services for the renewal in Wuzzle project is to be utilized as a global listing service for the entire sector of Dubai, which means all landlords inside Dubai, which are more than 3,000 landlords, will be able to list property for lease on a unified listing platform. What does it mean for end users? We've got lots of listing services available right now in the real estate sector, and one of the disadvantages of those listing services that they are not accurate because they are outdated. When this listing service will be integrated to the real estate blockchain, any transaction will occur, either registering a lease contract or conducting a property transfer. It will reflect directly to the listing service and it will be delisted. So we will tailor the service, not only in the time of conducting the property transfer, but to address it even before the property transfer, allowing the brokers, allowing the landlord, or allowing the investor or the property owner to list directly into the listing service. The second thing, we're expanding the smart contract service to have a smart contract in terms of sales transaction, especially between master developer. We've got more than 7 master developers inside Dubai who are conducting more than 150 property transfer per day on off-plan sector. And the third initiative that we're launching in 2018 is integration with the bank to create smart mortgage, where bank will be allowed to directly integrate with the blockchain to mortgage and demortgage without needing to visit land department or property registration offices across Dubai. Ralph?
Thank you, Khalifa. Amazing what you are doing in that case. And I think it has all the ingredients what you need for a good blockchain case. You've got to value the real estate. You've got a good ecosystem around it. You got the customer, you got the banks, you got the landlords, and so on. So it fits perfectly. And Dubai is lucky to have numbers of transactions that is so huge that you can do it by yourself. The next step is bringing in the ecosystem in a blockchain. Is one of the most important things because it should be used and it doesn't help you when you have 100 real estates. So another thing is sharing this information, adding data, and sharing this also probably for what means the energy consumption, what means the average costs of a building and so on. And you have your own ecosystem all over the world. We probably have other issues. We have to integrate others in the open market. And I think there's Michiel coming in because what Michiel is doing is trying to get more data to benchmark real estates. And please tell us a little bit more about it.
You guys are so far advanced what Yusuf and Khalifa was just explaining. So it would be most interesting if you guys would lead the way so others could benchmark against what Dubai is doing. There are a few reasons in it. One is the advancement of with the smart, well, let's take Smart Dubai's office by itself. Let's just move to near zero emission building. This already is an example. So benchmarking probably against Dubai may be for most countries in the world very difficult because the second thing you also have besides having the third thing. The first thing is having very advanced thinking and advanced politicians and the leadership to do this. The second thing is value in real estate, which also helps. But the third thing is low energy price. With the building of the solar panel park here, the largest one in the world, you're getting to the lowest energy cost. So actually here in Dubai, with so much sun and the solar panel, reducing energy spent doesn't increase value of the building so much. But most other countries in the world are in a different situation, where in the winter it's very cold and they have to heat to get a hot building, and in the summer they have to cool. And here America and Europe are sort of examples of doing it strange. Some kids go to school or people go to work in the summer, they have to wear a sweater because it's so cold, because they cool it so cold, and in the winter it's so hot that they're wearing t-shirts in the office because it's being heated crazy up. What we're trying to basically do is allow, let's say, Khalifa, to put up your data and upload it into the blockchain. You can determine if you want to do it by address or you want to do it anonymously. You control your own data. And then you can see how your buildings are performing against others of comparable size, comparable climates, comparable use. And then investors can actually then measure the value of, well, the building owners first and then the investors second, can see, okay, the singular use of that light is not very efficient. And of course, all these lights together, a building like this would have 30,000 data points per second. So it's a lot of data. But the blockchain is so great because it allows for a few things. One is, like Yusuf was already explaining, the immutability of the data, the verification, and that's what's missing right now in real estate globally and with real estate and investors. There's a lot of trust issues. Within investors, there's not a lot of sharing of data. In the real estate world, there's not a lot of sharing of data. But through blockchain, you can get to anonymous sharing of data, verification of the data by putting up against simulation models that are out there, plus comparing it to others, the benchmarking that Ralph was referring to. There can be a real value created for everybody. So with Blue Note, what we're trying to do is compensate people that upload the data with Blue Note tokens, because your data has a value. If you want to use data from others and get analysis back, you have to pay in tokens. And usually paying for the tokens, paying for the data and the information is a little bit more expensive, getting stuff out of the system than uploading, because otherwise the economy wouldn't work. But the idea would be basically that for Dubai, we actually with Blue Note would increase a revenue model on your data, because everything that you're learning right now you could share with the world, except get compensated also for it. So other people that will use your data and benchmark against it have to actually pay to get this data. And there's just a very small margin in the middle for the Blue Note network. Not for Blue Note as a company, but for the network and all the token holders. Yeah, Khalifa's laughing. There has to be an economy, guys, otherwise it's a subsidy. So it has to have economic value, and that's the great thing that we get through blockchain as well. You have tokens, and in the long run, basically, to summarize it is, we feel that through blockchain, as Yusuf was saying, adding decentralization and verification of data transparently by the whole group of participants in the network leads to trust. And this trust in having the right data and correct values, that has economic value. So that building owners and building investors can really see that building is not as efficient as that building, so it has not much value as the one that's leading. And my guess is, in summary, in conclusion, is that probably Dubai will be leading in those categories. Thanks.
Thanks, Michiel. Yeah, we're coming to a fair point. In the moment, we're talking about blockchain solutions, and sometimes we are not talking about the costs of blockchain solutions. It's just, it's so cool blockchain, we have to do it, and finally, that's not here to last when we are going like this at the project. So when we are talking about data and IoT, Yusuf, you told me you already have some information on that, what you're doing here in Dubai with that. Could you give us a brief update on that?
It's a very interesting use case and point of view in real estate from sustainability. It was very interesting, Michel. You know that buildings has major contribution to the environmental degradation, be it electricity and water consumption, carbon dioxide emission, or any other industry waste. Big responsibility lies on the environmental degradation in real estate. Dubai already set the strategy for the green buildings and the green cities. However, already we have existing of hundreds or thousands of buildings which is not green. It was not constructed based on the green concept, which is the case also in Wuzzle. So we took the step by evolving IoT across multiple buildings as a proof of concept for multiple objectives is to reduce the energy, better service, also to reduce the operation cost. OPEX for the maintenance of the building are one of the highest operational costs for any company here in real estate. One of the biggest challenges we face in IoT that collecting the data from thousands of sensors across hundreds of buildings and analyze it. The biggest challenge will be the data veracity. How you verify the data coming from all those. So I believe a blockchain can provide the industry the backbone for the data veracity coming from all the data from the IoT, which will help definitely to reduce the environmental degradation.
Thanks a lot for that. Dimitri, any perspective on Russia and giving data to benchmark, or are you staying with your data over there?
Well, we actually just are doing something different from kind of real estate, but also just doing something that is connected to real estate, which is the addressing system. We've developed the addressing system that provides people just with the unified digital ID for places and objects. There are now about like 1.5 million Naviaddresses just in our system. Just most of them are because of the integration with Booking.com, and we also integrated just with Uber. We started the integration just with DPD right now, but just we believe that we need to provide people with the ability just to create and use their addresses in a absolutely new way. I have a presentation on that, if you can just put this on screen, we can just go on that, so I can just share more information on that.
Sorry for not introducing you in the discussion first. Khalifa told a lot of things to us, what is very interesting, and I got a little bit irritated and forgot to introduce you. I really like what you are doing, and we're coming back to this because when we are talking about blockchain, first of all, the things was banking the unbanked, and probably you have heard this 10 times the last 2 days. So banking the unbanked means we have around 2.8 billion people in the world having no bank account, and more than 1 billion people of this are having a smartphone. So there's a huge potential. But I learned a new thing these days, and it's addressing the unaddressed. Because in the world, 4 billion people are not having a real address. And I will learn a little bit more on that later on from Dimitri. But first of all, coming back to the discussion about operational costs and what could IoT do and bring blockchain in, I'm sure, Khalifa, you have a very good opinion on that.
Smart Dubai have launched an initiative called Open Data, allowing all government sector to classify data that can be beneficial. And now, in 2018, we're fusing the open data with the blockchain, where we can provide those necessary data to the community. There are different type of data that can be viewed by public, data can be utilized by other government sector. In terms of our real estate blockchain, we also are working, as I mentioned earlier, in stages. The first stage was to enable government sector to utilize the data through the integration with the Smart Dubai. Smart Dubai is building a blockchain network that will help all government departments to exchange the right amount of data, the right type of data. And for us inside land department, we will be integrating with the other government sector if needed, or with the private sector such as banks, such as the designers. So when we talk about the data, we're not only talking about whether the data are going to be on a closed box utilized by government sector. Of course, we're going to expand that, and we're going to go to the public sector. Especially when we talk about, for example, designers or consultant or contractor who can, for example, pull the right data from the blockchain to create the right drawing or to get the right permission for the building. We are looking also into BIM, Building Information Management, how we can utilize BIM into blockchain, and how can we utilize such data to be available for the public use, not only for the rest of the private sector and government sector.
Thanks, Khalifa. I think that's an important topic, having some public data, what is for everyone finally to benchmark, and of course there's some private data in this area what you don't want to share. But now I want to learn more. Dimitri, what data do you share? What data do you capture? Could you please present us what you are doing?
Thank you, Rolf. Yeah. So I'm pleased to be here. I'm Dimitri, CEO of Naviaddress. We're a Cyprus-based company. We're 2 years old, and we're developing, as I said before, the addressing system that provides users with unified digital IDs for any place and object, just in real and virtual worlds. So what the pain points that we solve is basically just threefold. We provide addresses for those who have no addresses right now. It's 4 billion people in the world, and we thought that we can bring them the freedom and ability to have their delivery addresses and any other types of addresses they want to use. We also concentrate on a huge waste that there is in delivery and e-retail industry because of the mistakes and errors in the address verification and last mile. We also think that we can solve huge pain points for international tourists and touristic businesses generally because of the lack of authentication of the local businesses or local retail outlets such as hotels, restaurants and cafes to international tourists as well. So where are we now? We have right now 3 integrations. That's with Uber, with Booking.com, and now I'm opening up the integration project with DPD, which is a pan-European delivery business like DHL. We have right now 1.45 million Naviaddresses in the system, out of which 1.3 million Naviaddresses are business one. So we're moving to the blockchain because our early adopters said that they want to have the open source system, they want to have customizable, and the one that have the system where they would have the address to transact once instead of they transacting every time, meaning that every time you purchase something from e-retailer, they need to verify you on every purchase you have with them, on every transaction you have with them, and also authenticate you as a true buyer, let's say. And there's huge waste about that. I mean, the US Postal Service say that they have about 2 billion waste associated with the errors in the addressing, and I believe there's $1 billion waste generally across different countries in these industries. So how does it work? Here's the example of our invention. So we decided to use digits as a universal language, and now, we can convert, the system can convert address in any language into the string of digits, mainly by taking out numbers from digits, in address in any language. So first you remember your building number, and the system takes it and puts it into the digital address. So here we have the example, by the way, of our Cyprus company. So it means that 357 is the country code for Cyprus. So then the system adds 45 as a building number, and then it adds 3 numbers of your postal code, because this is something that you do remember because you reside there. And then it adds identifiers to the address if the system already assigned this particular address to somebody else. This is the example of the postal address. And the system provides also people with addresses, what we call custom addresses, or any type of addresses that they can use for transacting with the businesses. We can speak about that more at the booth where we're standing next to this hall. So how it works generally, for those of you who work with IT, the file format comprises of 4 things. It's place and objects. There's embedded geo-coordinate in that. there's a description of the postal just of delivery address, and there's a last mile description just of that. So the system generally provides three functions: it's create, share, and find Naviaddress. So we're going to migrating to the blockchain, and we just decided just to use Ethereum blockchain, but the private one, now just for the as ID ownership management solution. And there will be like the stack, just the technology stack is here, you can read it here. But I think just that the most valuable just out of the blockchain is that there is no need now to authenticate you or your address, let's say just same delivery address every time just you transact, let's say just with the business. It's also reduced overall waste in delivery chains, and just as I said before, it's reduced uncertainty just in transactions generally. So generally just, I mean, this is an interesting point for us because just we haven't thought over going to blockchain actually just before like summertime, I mean last summer. And that's our early adopters who said, hey guys, please go just to the blockchain because this could be a good solution for you just as an open source. So we have the management team just of 25 people. We have a development office in Moscow, and we have the headquarters just in Cyprus. Me and Michael just were co-founders in this business, and we have built and sold businesses for cumulative value of 240 mil in Russia and CIS. I think we can just speak about more just on our monetization and other interesting issues, let's say, just that is going together with what we do just at our booth. We have a very good advisory team. It's all about the people who have done something for the blockchain community, just or were developing certain technologies. For example, Jean-Jacques Kiscater, who is now advisory team, was one of the inventors of certain algorithms that were used by Satoshi. So we believe there's certain issues just about success, and I all welcome you just in our booth. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dimitri. Very interesting topic, but unfortunately we're running out of time a little bit. You're addressing a super important topic in all the blockchain world. It's the unique identification of everything. Yeah? It is a real estate object, a person, and if we don't solve this, it's not possible to work together because we have to know about what object we are talking. Thanks a lot for bringing in this angle. So we have a lot of other questions on my list here, but as I want to give the audience a little bit the chance to ask some questions, not only about the last topic from Dimitri, about all the discussion, I want to open up now. Is anyone here? Yes, please.
Thank you, first of all, for a very interesting and impressive panel of what's happening here. And I've got a question for Mr. Khalifa. I would like to understand a bit better how is the validation happening on the blockchain? Because effectively there's many systems where you say that at the end it's just a central authority doing the validation. On your implementation, is there actually different nodes all validating the property registration or the payment flows? That would be the one question. And the second one, whether you're also looking forward beyond the mortgages for fractionalized real estate investments.
Okay, going back to the first question is, when we launched the Dubai real estate blockchain as an initiative, we couldn't lay down the entire solution for the real estate sector. So, for example, implementing smart contract have not been done yet. It will go in 2008. The only smart contract that will go live very soon is the Wuzzle property group project, which is the smart lease contract. But when it comes to validating the information inside the blockchain, the data that we have built and the infrastructure, we are planning to expand the network of nodes, not only with the government sector, but with certain key players inside the real estate community, such as master developer, such as banks, such as enterprise company who are very close to conducting property transfer or conducting any procedure utilizing real estate data. But most importantly, the initial phase of the title deed blockchain was to make sure that we have a digital version of the property data inside a blockchain, a blockchain that can be accessed by the government sector as well as the private sector, where they can verify their ownership and verify their property. Customer now can download land department website and verify the property and the ownership on any condition of the property. We have more than 1.5 million record inside our title deed blockchain. Our legacy application right now cannot conduct or does not conduct any procedure on real estate without verifying the property on the blockchain. We have multiple nodes running right now inside a few of the government department as well as some of the cloud versions. The purpose of doing that is many of the things that we have done inside land department have been done internally, and with the expert help from Smart Dubai office, we managed to gain lots of resources and lots of knowledge, and we are working very closely with them to tailor the right solution for the real estate community.
Regarding the technological challenges you faced in your initial implementation, I mean, there's a lot of discussions in the market about that. Yes, the technology today does not really fully satisfy it. There's a lot of customization need to be done. There's different technologies to evaluate, different partners, different ecosystems. We're talking about not only one entity to work around this. We're talking about 4 entities: Al-Wuzzle, Dubai Land, and also DIWA, etc. Can you please shed some light on this? And how did you deal with it so far, and your strategy for 2018 to overcome it?
Well, the project was not easy. We had a lot of help from Smart Dubai office, as I mentioned earlier. There are many challenges in the entire network. The team has been trying lots of solutions in the market. Ethereum, for example, Hyperledger. Actually, both of them are running on our platform. But for me, when I talk about real estate sector, the most interesting challenge is I conduct the property transfer in 30 minutes. When seller and buyer inside Dubai, it is very easy for them to transact the property from a side to another side. But when it comes into borders and countries, in Dubai, we have more than 200 nationalities of people owning property inside Dubai. So when a seller, for example, staying in Japan or in Asia or in US and would like to transfer money, these are the challenges we're talking about. How can blockchain or cryptocurrency or any other related wallet would help to make sure that those fees and the money related to the property transfer get transferred in a very quick and safe environment. So this is one of the challenges. But for example, Yusuf mentioned about KYC and the utilization of Dubai ID into blockchain. That helped a lot because Dubai ID was utilized between government department prior to blockchain. So when we came into blockchaining the scenario of registering the lease contract or renewing the lease contract, it was very easy for those entities to utilize Dubai ID immediately and make sure that the information are being passed through Smart Dubai office across the government sector in a very easy and fast, secure way. And the third challenge that I look at is existing procedures cannot be taken directly to blockchain environment. We have to re-enhance the process, to re-engineer all the process and procedure to make sure that we can benefit from such new technology.
So now I really have to stop and thank you very much. My final statement on that is that's a huge topic, real estate and blockchain. Probably we need an unlock blockchain on real estate whole day here to work on that. Thanks a lot for all the information and thanks to the audience.